Some remarks on the theory of the hermeneutic type um, on the subject of the figure of Steve Bannon, who has recently made this. Um, it's not at all I was already looking at this possibility that Bannon is a hermeneutic type, but it's sort of like hermeneutic types are transcendent in a way. They're open. So like this remark that I'm not a conservative because conservatives are pussies. Um, it's sort of like um, I'm on a journey. I'm Odysseus. I'm not something that's written down and already on a script to be performed. Something like that seems to be part of his. It could call it, okay, maybe it's a shtick. But then again, since it's actually happening, maybe it's not. Maybe it's both. Um, I mean, Homer. So, first of all, why am I talking about Odysseus? Because Plato has identified Socrates and the Protagoras as Odysseus, who goes down past the hellhounds into Hades, and in Hades he finds um, Protagoras, the sophist. Um, so there's this identification of Socrates and Odysseus. Odysseus is to pronounce, not for language, but for intelligibility, polytropos. So poly, many, many tropes, many-sided. Um, I say hermeneutic type partially because Hermes is literally said to be the messenger of the gods and to move as quick as thought itself. And also because that's what we call a certain type of exegete is a hermeneut. So there's a hermeneutic movement amongst the Prussians. So then there's a complaint, I think, that some people will say, but Bannon is not really, even though he's read some interesting books. So part of why I'm mentioning Bannon is because Dugan has been mentioning Bannon quite a bit. One could say possibly that's for some type of the exigencies of Dugan's fate as a Russian are in play, and he has to do whatever he must reach at anything, and maybe this is not totally his last word as a thinker. But in any case, we have this figure of Bannon here. So how could we? Isn't it that it seems that Socrates is more of an intellectual and less of a so Bannon, putting the emphasis on action over theory. But that's beside the point in a way. I just think the direct, just to use the phrase, I'm not saying I think the phrases are just ways of naming things that have been known for a long time. This system one, system two, so it's just a convenience. In system one view of Bannon, one has to say he's not, his intellect, I think, is not, it's not the intellect of Heidegger. It's not the intellect of a true intellectual in some sense. But that's not the main question with the hermeneutic type, I don't think, because then the point is the whole grade or the whole group, which includes also Donald Trump as the Hercules type, and I think one could say Dennis Hopper probably is in that same group in this shallow way. And also what's the guy? Harry Dean Stanton, I think, is in that group. But then I would say here's this hermeneutic type, which is to be identified with Odysseus. And within that group, Bannon is the hermeneutic type within that grouping, that personality grouping. But it's defect. It's probably the whole grouping is defective in the sense that it has some lack in, let's call it Epimethean thought, and it's more about Promethean, less Epimethean, the whole group. and probably Socrates has a better balance. That would be my claim. So then the people that say, okay, Bannon doesn't really have he doesn't have the native sense of intellectual good faith in the way, say, a Zizek does, who's always sort of scared. He's always sort of a little bit iffy, saying, oh, maybe made a mistake there. Very worrisome to state something slightly false about a matter of scholarship and so on. There's a certain lack of kind of a conscience with respect, a kind of a guilty conscience with respect to intellectual standards. So, but I would say that's what's lacking from that type. But whatever it's lacking is no more than whatever's lacking probably from Zizek, I would say. So Zizek is a hermeneutic type with some kind of different fault, which I'd say probably has something to do with his being a little bit squishy. He's a little bit squishy. It's not maybe stern enough in some way, or not cold. He lacks a sang-froid in some way. A little bit like the Harrison Ford character in the first Star Wars. But in any case, that's both these points would be both these types, though hermeneutic types, would be then to be judged against the archetype of Socrates as defective in one way or another.